Twisted Travelers Podcast, your weekly dose of theme park news and entertainment. And now, here to talk all things coasters, theme parks, and even more, here are your hosts, Jack Lathrop and Chris Jones.
Hey everybody, welcome back to this week's episode of the Twisted Travelers Podcast. My name is Jack. I'm sitting here, as always, with King George, also known as Chris.
That's right. I am the king.
He
Jack
is
has
the
admitted
king.
it. Jack has admitted it. I've beaten Jack.
Little tangent right here at the start. So, if you've been
What are we doing?
following our... tangent, here we go. 30 seconds in, literally, and we're tangenting.
I'm
So-
sure they've done it faster.
Well, that might be close to their record. I'm not gonna lie. That's pretty close to trying to go for their record. Although I'm pretty sure there is an episode where it just starts off with Mark singing, "I will remember you." Yeah, he just starts singing. That might be their fastest one. Okay, where were we? Tangent. That's right.
King.
So, if you've been listening to the podcast since last season or followed me on Twitter for a while, you know I'm a huge fan of Coaster 365, our good friend Bryant. He started his March Madness tournament last week. It started really this week. And today, both Lightning Rod and Time Traveler advanced, and they have to play each other on St. Patrick's Day. So Chris and I have been yelling at each other for a solid hour about why our ride is better.
And guess who won?
And because Chris won because honestly his opinions are not as hot as mine and make more sense. So I will henceforth be referring to him as King George.
I am the king.
Mainly right. So I can make a bunch of Hamilton references, which I know will drive him up the wall. But
that's true. Okay, well, what do we actually have this week? Other than tangents this week, it's going to be a little different. We're not doing news this week since pretty much nothing happened, and we have other stuff to talk about anyway. So we're going to start off with some listener questions, and then we will do our ride of the week and have a big old trip report from...
It is going to be a
Texas state of Texas
sized trip report.
That's a Buc-ee's sized trip report.
Oh, it's going to be bigger than Buc-ee's. It's going to be all the Buc-ee's in one. So...
I mean, it's kind of hard to top that one, but we'll talk about that later.
True. Okay, so, but first of all, we have two questions from the lovely Marcus Johnson, host of
Lovely?
The Drunk Riders.
That's what we're going with for him?
He is lovely. He's I can't use what I would like to call him because we are a PG show, so.
He is a work of art.
I mean, I could bleep it, but I don't feel like doing that type of editing. So, his first question, do you think one or both of you will take a drink before you're 21?
Well, I'll let you go first.
I'll answer that with a simple statement. I've been to Europe. What do you think?
I'm too much of a good boy.
It's legal in Europe, baby.
Yeah, no, I'll pass. So, one is the answer, Marcus. There's your confirmation.
Yes. Well, one will take, have taken, same thing. Anyway, real talk, how did you lose to Chris with that swing at Topgolf? Okay.
I'm just good at everything I do. That's it. I'm the king.
I'm
lost.
Twice. I beat you
twice. You lost twice.
I beat you one time. I beat you one time.
And I played golf one time, and you have experience.
Yeah, I have experience aiming for a hole 300 yards away.
I have no experience, so.
Anyway, so we'll get to the Topgolf later. But Marcus, to be quite honest, I don't know how I lost. It proves I need to go to the...
Because you curved everything?
Yeah, which means I needed to go to the driving range because my slice is back. Yay! I thought I got rid of that.
I'm just better.
Once you learn how to hit the ball, you'll have a slice or a hook too, and then you'll be right the same boat with me.
Maybe I just won't learn how to hit the ball. Maybe I'll just wing it and not practice ever again. And next time we go to Topgolf, I'll just win.
Or maybe the next time you're in Knoxville, I'm gonna make you go play actual golf with me.
If you want to do that, we can do that. I don't care.
Okay, I'm down. We've already got some people interested in doing an enthusiast open, which sounds amazing to me. As long as I get to play for that coveted gold jacket, gold, not green, gold, then I'm in.
Okay, sounds good to me. We could do like an enthusiast Olympics. That'd be pretty sick for like a weekend.
You know, Coaster Radio used to do Midway Olympics at their meetups, and I really want to do one of those if we ever have a Twisted Travelers meetup.
I'm sure that'll happen someday. We just got to find a park where most of our people are from. Hey, where's your home park? Let us know. Let's get interactivity. Maybe we'll have a meetup at your home park.
Or, here, I'll just throw this out right now. Indiana Beach. We're going this year. Y'all want to join us? Over? The Drunk Riders are going. We're going. I think we just take Indiana Beach over one day.
John Mike already does that on his visits, so.
I mean, John Mike walks in that place like he owns the dang thing, so.
I mean, he probably, with the amount of money he's given that park with all of his visits, he might be a part owner.
I was going to say, he probably has like a majority ownership of the property now.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
I'm excited to go with him, though. That's going to be a fun trip.
Time. Oh, we're tangenting again.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that.
Okay.
Thanks for good content.
Yep.
All right. Our third question comes from Megan, which is Brian's fiance.
Yes. Yep.
Okay, I really didn't want to mess that up. She says, "What's a roller that you hate or just don't like very much, but you'll still ride every visit to the park?" And I read this earlier when putting the questions down and looking through the Discord, and I'm still thinking.
I know this is a really good question. This is the type of Marcus, I love both of your questions because I love you. End of discussion. And I love some of the other questions we've got coming up too, but this one takes the cake for me this week because I have been thinking about it since it was posted on where is it? It was posted like 3 days ago, and I've been thinking about it, and I still really can't think of like one ride that I just
give me a second. I have something that I will, I guess, put down as an answer if it comes to it, but let me just think.
Okay, I'm going to just start kind of spitballing some out, and then I'll settle on one. One that immediately pops to mind is Wolverine Wildcat at Michigan's Adventure. The ride is unbearable. Yeah, the ride is unbearably rough. It's not an original layout. It really is. I mean, okay. I'm going to say it's not fun. It's a roller coaster, so yeah, it's probably fun to most people, but when Shivering Timbers is right next door and you have one of the best Aero corkscrew models because they, again, know how to maintain it, and also they have one of the best SLCs because, again, they can maintain it in that park. Riding a wooden roller coaster that just kind of meanders, but I still ride it every time because there's not much at that park.
Okay. I think I'm gonna have to settle for my answer because I don't have a really good one. So there's not a whole lot of parks that I have visited multiple times. So I have to pick something from one of those parks. And from all those parks, there is not a ride that I hate or even really don't like that I can put on this. But there was one that I think is kind of good, kind of bad. That
I have a feeling.
What?
Is it Mystery Mine?
It is. Every time I go to Dollywood, I've ridden Mystery Mine, and I mean, it is rough, but it does have very good redeeming factors. But it's probably the worst coaster of all of the parks outside of my home parks that I have ridden every time I visited a park.
I mean, I agree with that. So it's my home park, so I don't ride it every time, mainly because it gets a long line and I don't feel like waiting for it. But I've ridden it enough. Usually it's a one and done for me. It used to be way back when I was a budding enthusiast and had no clue what like anything was or how special like anything at Dollywood was. I really liked Mystery Mine. It was like at one point in time I probably would have told you it was my favorite in the park. Um but it's just taken a turn for the worse the last couple of years, and I'm really thankful they're redoing that first outdoor section this year because I think that's going to save the ride and make me want to ride it more, because the part they're redoing is the part that was awful.
Oh yeah, 100%. I think it's gonna fix it. But yeah, Mystery Mine is solid, but at the same time it's pretty tough to ride.
Mm-hmm. I'll throw out another one that I still find myself riding pretty much every visit is Hurler at Carowinds. The ride's okay. It's nothing special, nothing to write home about, but I still ride it every time because it's the only wooden roller coaster at Carowinds. Okay, only decent sized wooden roller coaster at Carowinds.
And even though Woodstock Express might be better.
Well, I mean, after all, I mean, considering they tore the first half down and rebuilt it from the ground up over the off season, I hope so.
Yeah. I mean, I think there would be. I think Hurler would be an option, but I've only visited there once. Like, I feel like that's a ride that I would probably ride every time I went to the park.
Mm-hmm.
If I were to return to Carowinds.
And Vortex fell into that category for the entirety of its lifespan. I rode it almost every visit to Kings Island, even though I didn't care for it that much. Oh, those are the big ones that come to mind.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of options.
I mean, I probably will never ride it again. I've only been to Hershey twice, but I did it because you need the credit. But Sidewinder.
Yeah. It ain't good.
No, I hate that ride. I'm still kind of mad that I should have just stayed off that thing and taken your picture.
Yeah, you should. I was hoping for Flying Cobra's experience, considering the restraints. It just wasn't. But yeah, so I think that's it. I mean, there's not a whole lot of options, and some of them they're not rides that we hate, I'd say, except for Sidewinder. But yeah, I think those are really the only options that we have.
Yeah, none of them I really hate. They are all okay, with the exception of Mystery Mine. If the other two went, I don't think I would shed a tear. Mystery Mine, I will be upset when that ride goes because it is such a unique experience, and there is nothing else like Mystery Mine in the world. There is not another Eurofighter like that.
Novgorod?
Which God, I'm getting them all confused.
That's a Hansa Park. It has the really fast launch, and then it goes into the vertical lift indoor section. That's the closest you're gonna get.
But even then, it doesn't have the upwards barrel roll into that hang thing, the hang loop, which is just amazing. Yeah. And also, we have like a beyond vertical twisting drop, which is just nuts if it's running good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd say that's about it.
Yeah.
So we'll move on to our next two questions. These are both from Zach from Amusement Central. The first one says, do you think RMC will RMC their existing iBox attractions? So not Rod.
I mean, so I think it is going to depend on the park and how these experiences hold up over time. Spoiler, kind of for what we're going to get into in the second half of the episode. Iron Rattler turns, 8 this year?
And it's freaking nuts.
And it's legit, like, it was running butter smooth this past weekend. Like, I could not feel a single bump or jolt in that track.
Oh, it was so good. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. We'll rave about it more later.
So I think for now, those rides are like, they don't need to be retracked. They've held up so well over the past 8 years. I don't know if they're ever going to need to be retracked. I could definitely, I know this is straying away from the question, I could definitely see the 3 remaining full toppers eventually getting iBox. Lightning Rod's already proven, and I like that it's possible. And again, I need to throw that on the show notes. I'm gonna talk a little bit about Dollywood before we get into our big trip report. But seeing it test last week, I can tell you it's smoother without having ridden it because I've watched that ride enough to tell you it's not jolting through those turns like it used to.
Thank God.
So the iBox is gonna help. I don't know. I could see New Texas Giant getting it eventually since it has like the
You
first
think Six
generation
Flags is gonna
rails.
spend the money for that?
I said eventually. But again, who knows?
So that's pretty much my answer. Is that no, except for the possibility of a long, long, long time from now, because New Texas Giant is the only one I could see having any sort of layout changes if Six Flags wanted to do something for like an anniversary or something and retrack it. But
Or just
the
get the track
others,
up to the current standard
yeah,
that
even
RMC
just that,
set.
I I don't think there will ever be a need to do it to the others.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Or even
structural work as it ages, but no track work, I don't think.
yeah, well, and even with the track, I wouldn't even see it needing to be a full retrack because the way the topper and the iBox track was designed was that you could literally just pick a section, say, okay, let's do this section, drop it in. So take for instance the drop of Steel Vengeance. So like replace the valley at the bottom of the drop, but there's no need to do the lift or the drop because the trains are really not touching the track at that point. But where it's hitting repeatedly, you could replace that one piece of track eventually. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I could ram. It all goes back to when the topper track and the iBox track were created. They were created to make these things last as long as possible. And the topper track has definitely not done as well, but the iBox track has held up extremely well.
Yeah. I I think I'm just gonna say no, with the only possibility being a long time from now. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's a need to anytime soon.
Mm-hmm. So, okay.
Yeah.
Next question from Zach. Is Fiesta, Texas the best Six Flags park? If not, where does it rank? And can we just rank all of our Six Flags parks? So, I need a pen and a piece of paper because I gotta think.
Okay, well while you do that, I'll go ahead and do it. Okay, so is Fiesta Texas the best Six Flags park? People who have listened to this podcast since season 1 and listened to my first Fiesta Texas trip report know that I was not a big chance. We're going to talk a little bit about my second visit in just a little bit because we went this last weekend. But it redeemed itself, and the more I thought about it, I do believe it is the best Six Flags park I have been to. I think it takes the number 1 spot. So I'll go ahead and rank mine real quick since I've only been to 4. At the 4th spot is Six Flags St. Louis. Nothing personal, but just ride collection isn't as good as the other 3 I've been to. And also kind of left on a sour note because, and it's not Six Flags' fault, but the weather just, American Thunder closed and I didn't get to ride it, and I was really looking forward to it. So that park was an interesting visit. It definitely has positives, but was a little let down in the end. My third favorite and my second favorite could honestly probably be interchanged, but the third favorite is Six Flags Over Georgia. Um, they have Cyclone, they have Goliath. Every ride at their park is just very, very good. Scorcher, but probably the best stand-up. Superman was way better than I remembered last time. Their Batman clone, don't get me and Jack started on their Batman clone. We could go
Oh,
on
it's
for a while.
heavenly.
Scream Machine has insane night rides. Blue Hawk was way better than I remembered last time and had really cool near misses. And then I haven't ridden Mindbender in like 8 years, so there's that. And Daredevil Dive is really solid too. So they just have a really well-rounded collection of rides and fantastic atmosphere. My second favorite is going to be Over Texas, which is very similar, just a well-rounded collection of rides, also great atmosphere. I was really impressed by New Texas Giant and their Mr. Freeze. Shockwave was good. Runaway Mountain and Judge Roy Scream really surprised me. And then number 1 would be Fiesta Texas because Iron Rattler completely redeemed itself and is way better than I remembered. Wonder Woman, we could talk about Wonder Woman later. And Krypton Coaster is the best floorless. And then they've also got Poltergeist, a great mine train, a really solid dark ride, and some great flats as well that we didn't get to experience, but I've experienced similar types and I know that they're fantastic. So that's probably my order.
Okay. So I have been to 5 Six Flags parks. 2 that Chris hasn't been to. So bottom of the list, I'm gonna come out slowing in because this is probably a hot take. My least favorite Six Flags park is Six Flags Great Adventure.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I saw that coming, actually. I forgot you'd been there.
Yeah, so, okay, here's my thing with Great Adventure. Their ride collection is good, but that park has a trash layout.
I think you
No
should
offense.
also preface that you didn't go for that long and you didn't ride everything.
No, I've only been to that park for like 4 hours. I've only ridden I've ridden 8 of their 13 roller coasters, and I've only ridden each of them once. To start, El Toro disappointed the heck out of me. So there's that for you right there. El Toro was a disappointment for me. My favorite ride at that park is Nitro, of all things. Okay, so Great Adventure's at the bottom. The clientele didn't impress me. The workers didn't impress me. The park itself didn't impress me. Just an observation. I need to go back. I need to give that whole park a second chance. I need to give Toro a second chance. I'm just not a huge fan of Great Adventure, so.
Hey, that was my first visit to Fiesta, Texas, so maybe you'll have a better second visit.
Mm-hmm. And I say, like, I don't hate the place. I would go back, and I'm planning on going back. It's just, out of all the ones I've been to, not my favorite. So, 4th place, and really from here on out, they're actually all great parks. Six Flags St. Louis, I had a blast there this summer. Boss, Freeze, and American Thunder are great, 3 headliners. Good supporting coasters, minus Ninja. I really enjoyed that park.
Ninja. Wait, they have a Boomerang. Are you not minus in that? Or did you
I like the Boomerang more than I like Ninja.
Actually, not a hot take.
Yeah. So number 3 is going to be Six Flags Over Georgia, even despite some of the craziness that went on at our January visit of this year. I love this park. It's Goliath, Twisted Cyclone, Batman, Superman, Scream Machine. Phenomenal lineup of coasters. Extremely underrated lineup of coasters. Rollers.
I forgot to correct you. Sorry.
I've been texting with Sarah all day. I can hear her screaming in my head right now. So yeah, extremely underrated collection of roller coasters. Really enjoyed Six Flags of Georgia. I'm really looking forward to getting back in a week or two when they open up. Okay, number 2 is Six Flags Fiesta Texas. So close on these top 2. Iron Rattler, Krypton, Gal Gadot, Poltergeist, some great flat rides, and one of the prettiest parks I've ever been to.
Oh, I didn't even touch on that. Yes, I agree.
There's nothing like that Quarry Wall backdrop. It's amazing. It is such a good park, but the winner is Magic Mountain. It's Magic Mountain. You've got X2. You've got X2, Colossus, Tatsu, Batman, Viper. The list goes on and on and on. And most of their rides are fantastic. Even Goliath is fantastic. I love that thing. And there's so much to do. You could easily spend a week there and still want more time. And I'm like one of those people. I almost think I always have this debate in my head: which has the better lineup, Magic Mountain or Cedar Point? And I go back and forth because if you look at my top 25, there are 2 Magic Mountain coasters and there are 2 Cedar Point coasters.
Well, okay. I haven't been to Magic Mountain, but I've thought about this as well. When you really think about it, is there a bad coaster at Magic Mountain?
Forgetting the kiddie coasters, because they have 3 of them. The only ride there that I didn't care for was Riddler's Revenge.
And even then, a lot of people consider that the best stand-up.
I just thought it was a little too much. I just couldn't. The first couple elements were fun, but after that mid course, I was like, just get me off of this thing. Okay, just be done. But really, everything else, Scream is forgettable, but it's not a bad ride by any means.
Once again, Scream is the one coaster that I forget exists until somebody mentions
it. It's forgettable. It is very forgettable. Bizarro is by far the better clone of that ride. But Magic Mountain, I think, overall has a strong, like, all of their rides overall are better, but the argument could be made Cedar Point has, like, the 3 or 4, like, best coasters. I know I don't necessarily agree with Vengeance being the best, but people go on about Vengeance and Millennium and Maverick and Dragster. Like, those 4 are really good. But for me, being the X2 fanboy, if you said you can go to Cedar Point or you can go to Magic Mountain, I'm choosing Magic Mountain.
Yeah, they both. It seems close. I'm hoping to get there within the next couple years. That's gonna be a fun day going to Magic Mountain for the first time. I can wait. But yeah.
So yeah, there's my rank of the Six Flags Park. That was a fun little segment, actually. We should.
Right.
We should do it next week. We should do the Cedar Fair parks because that one minus Valley Fair, I can do every single one of them.
Wait. I think I can only do 5. Which it should be more by now, but
Carowinds, Cedar Point, Kings Island,
Kings Dominion, Worlds of Fun.
Kings Dominion, Worlds of Fun, yeah.
I'm going to Dorney this year though, so add that one.
Yeah, the only Cedar Fair park I need is Valley Fair. I'm gonna have to pilgrimage to it at some point in the next year or two.
I'll come with you. Let me know. But yeah, that's our Six Flags Parks ranked, and that'll do it for listener questions. So now we can move on to Ride of the Week. Let me pull up the wheel.
While he's doing the wheel, quick plug for listener questions. You have a question you want us to answer. The best way to get it in front of us is to join our Discord. Link is in the description. Join us. We got a great community going. We're talking about pictures we take. We're talking about rides we're riding, having a great time. Marcus is constantly yelling at me over my hot takes. Zach and I are constantly just dropping like photo hotness in the photography and art. And you get to ask your questions, interact directly with us. I check it like 4 or 5 times a day.
I have notifications on.
Yeah,
you type in there, I'm there to respond most of the time.
Yeah, so join our Discord. It's a great community. We love having it. We're really enjoying what we've got so far. And that is the best way to get your questions in front of us.
Yeah. Okay, I've got the wheel ready.
Okay, so we're back on to bad Vekoma clones. Vekoma, we love you, but we hate you.
So yeah, the 3 left is Boomerangs, first generation family suspended ones, like the Hang and Bangs, and then Flying Dutchmans, aka Nighthawk. We did SLCs last week. All right, I'm spinning.
Spin the wheel.
We got Nighthawk. Okay,
Nighthawk it is. Okay, so let's get the elephant out of the room right here. Firehawk wasn't that bad.
Firehawk was a heck of a good time. Like, really. And then Batwing, I've heard, is solid. But Nighthawk is just a shame of a ride.
Yeah, Nighthawk is abysmal. At best. Scrap it, tear it down, build me a GCI, end of discussion.
I completely agree. I mean, literally anything would be better. But yeah, so just in general, they are uncomfortable, not a good restraint system, and you start off laying down, right?
Oh, God, it's awful.
Just not good. I've been sitting on the brake run in the sun while face up.
Okay, at least Nighthawk had the shade. Like, the best part of Nighthawk was the shade over the brake run. It didn't help much, but it was better than Nighthawk, or better than Firehawks.
Yeah. There's just nothing fun. Nothing fun about Nighthawk at all. Really, especially the corkscrews. They're just rough and uncomfortable. Really hurt your head.
It is a pretty ride. I will give Carowinds that. They take good care of its paint job. And it looks, It looks okay. It rides like just no, thank you.
Yeah, so to clarify once again, we did not mind Firehawk, and we both needed to ride Batwing. But if you ask either of us, Nighthawk is the worst major coaster. There is
Yeah,
it.
there's
It's just not good.
So when on my spreadsheet, I so the way my spreadsheet of coaster credits works or roller credits works is I have all 270 something ranked in order from like what I think is my favorite to my least favorite. No matter what, Nighthawk always is at the bottom. I just continue to shove it down no matter what I ride. There's never been anything I thought was worse than Nighthawk.
I 100% agree. So if you don't get the point already, Nighthawk bad.
Carowinds, tear it out already, please. Please
Yeah,
spare
Carowinds is
us.
just way too top heavy, and it's mainly that ride that's pulling it down. Uh, yeah, we both love a GCI there. And we also think we will love Fly now that Vekoma has moved on to better flying coasters.
Well, I
So
mean, we have both ridden. uh, Yeah, we both ridden a new Gen Vekoma. And Dragonflyer is one of the smoothest rides I've been on. So they know how to make track now and they know how to make it comfortable.
yeah,
So we just need one of the big ones to show up in the States. I honestly wouldn't. I mean, okay, Cedar Fair, don't give us a GCI. If you gave us a, giant Vekoma like thrust, I wouldn't complain.
yeah. I mean, literally anything.
I was just like, there's so many different like Vekoma models. I was like, oh, which one do we go with? Thrust. That one pops into my head.
Yeah, give us Abyssus clone. But yeah, Nighthawk bad. Anything else good? Not a fan of them. But it's not the worst clone because it did have Firehawk
Firehawk.
and does have
Apparently,
Nighthawk.
Batwing is not
Or
awful.
yeah, Batwing. I mean, so yeah,
So,
that is ride of the week.
oh, Flying Dutchman, we hate you. Go die in a hole.
Right. So now Jack
Okay.
has his Dollywood trip report, and then we'll get into it.
Okay, so Dollywood trip report. If you follow me on Twitter and Instagram, you saw it. If you watch Coaster Studios, you saw my face. Um, Taylor had reached out to me a couple weeks ago, asked if I'd go to Dollywood on his behalf, cover the media event for him. So we went up there and get up there. Dollywood. I'm gonna sound like a Dollywood fanboy, which I am a Dollywood fanboy, but I'm gonna sound like one for a minute here. Um, this is if you've never been to Dollywood, this is the year to come. If you have never been, or even if you've been and you've been trying to come back for a while, this is the year to come. There is so much happening at Dollywood this year. There's going to be something happening every single week from March 13th till January 4th of 2022. This is the year to come. We have Flower and Food Festival. We have Summer Fest. We have uh, Harvest Fest and Luminites. And of course, Smoky Mountain Christmas. They've got so much lined up. The food is going to be phenomenal. The entertainment is probably the best entertainment lineup Dollywood has ever had. The PR list is somewhere over there, but like huge names coming this year. Not to mention the fact that Thunderhead, Mystery Mine, Blazing Fury, and Lightning Rod are all getting track work. Thunderhead is getting another third of its track done, or another fourth of its track done. They did not tell us which fourth, but I can almost 100% tell you what part of the ride it is based off what we were able to see. Because we know they've done from the drop through that first overbank turn, and then we know they've done the last fourth of the ride. And from where we parked, we could see the turn under the lift hill and into the station fly through, which is what we'd call the second fourth. And they've not touched any of that, so I'm assuming it is from the fly through to where they did track work last year. I'm assuming that is the part of the ride they retracked this season because that's the part of the ride we can't see. And the part of the ride we could see had no visible work done to it. So that's my guess. That is a guess. It's a very educated guess, but it's a guess. Mystery Mine is getting a extension to its layout. That's what we'll call it. If you're familiar with Mystery Mine, you know you go up the first vertical lift and through that outdoor section onto the trestle. The drop, everything from the drop through the first mid-course has been cut out. It is in the preferred parking lot ready to be scrapped or done something with. They're making the drop a little steeper and longer, and they're going to be extending that like horseshoe turn. We don't really know what it's going to do, but it's going to be bigger. And I quote Pete Owens when I say this. The ride is probably going to be 5 to 7 seconds longer as a result of the track work they're doing.
That's solid.
So yes, go ahead and start debating is Mystery Mine a new credit. I can't wait to see y'all watch it.
Jack just likes to see you fight. The obvious
It
answer
really
no.
is. It really is funny. I know I've told you, Chris, but when I was talking to Pete Owens about all of this and what was happening, I said, y'all have already like created a giant rift in the community whether or not Lightning Rod is a new credit, and you're just changing the track type. Wait till they find out you're changing Mystery Mine's layout.
Yeah.
And then Blazing Fury RMC is doing some more track work on it to keep that classic running. Great. I love that ride. And of course, the thing you all want to know about Lightning Rod. It's amazing. I got to see it run myself. I was literally in the station 5 feet from the train with the air gates open at one point. I could have just walked in and sat down if I wanted. It is fantastic. It was so cool to see it running and hear that new RMC roar it has, which is just weird. It used to just make like a clicking noise. Now it's like a whoosh as it goes by you. So cool to see it running. The Zero car, this is something I don't know many people have picked up on, is new. It is a new Zero car, but it looks almost identical to the ones they were running last year. But they are new Zero cars. The trains all got like a heavy cleaning. It's awesome. And yeah, it should be open. It should be open for pass holder and opening day. It'd been testing for a day and a half when we saw it, and from what I was told, it did not throw a single fault on that first full day of testing, which is a miracle for Lightning Rod. So Lightning Rod is gearing up. It is getting ready for its 2021 debut as Lightning Rod 6.0, as I've been referring to it. Yeah, Lightning Rod's great. Other quick little perk things. Blacksmith shop has been torn down and moved to a new location. Make Your Own Knife is coming this year. New seating areas for Hickory House and Tater Shack are coming. And like I said, biggest show and music lineup in park history. So we'll cap it off one more time. If you've never been to Dollywood or you've been wanting to come back, 2021 is the year. There is my Dollywood fanboy pitch. There you go.
I mean, you already know I'm trying to come. It's going to be a good year. You got a lot coming.
It is a really good year, and I may or may not have teased a new coaster, but I'm saving that story for another time.
Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get to what you're all here for. Twisted Travelers, Tongue, Texas. Let's do it.
Did you just ran right through that? No, you gotta say that like a Texan.
What, Twisted Travelers Take Texas?
Yes, I want your best Southern accent saying that.
Twisted Travelers Take Texas.
Oh, that was pretty good. Do it one more time. I want to feel it.
Twisted Travelers Take Texas.
Ah, there we go. The Twisted Travelers Take Texas.
And go to Magic Buc-ee's.
So, shall we talk about our replacement for El Stumble since Texas froze?
Yeah, guess what? Guess what? We got to ride, gal.
And, okay, so let's say right up front, not getting to see the Drunk Riders and John Mike and everyone, yeah, I'm sad. I miss all of you. I wish we had gotten to see you, but I also know the fact that we got to go to Fiesta Texas is awesome. Still miss you guys. Still love you guys. We'll see you soon.
That's right.
Okay, with that out of the way, we got the right gal. We got the right gal.
Okay, what should we start with the parks, or should we start with the festivities before and after and in between the parks?
I think we should just run through it in order.
Okay.
So you start because you got there first.
I flew into Orlando and then waited for Jack.
You flew into Orlando and
I
waited
flew
for
into
me.
San Antonio and then waited for Jack. And that was what I
Yes.
did.
So my dad and I flew out of Knoxville, headed to Dallas to San Antonio, left our terminal, met up with Chris, and what was the first thing we do? Jack just led them on a wild goose chase to find the rental car because they just followed me blindly.
Yeah, that's true. He went to the wrong floor of the garage for the rental car stuff.
On purpose.
Did you really?
Yes.
Why?
Because y'all were just following me blindly. I wanted to see how long it would take you to
Okay.
realize
Well, anyways,
it.
we went up the wrong one. Then we went down a floor. Then we got the rental car. You want to tell them what
And
the
then
rental car was?
my dad with his company, we were in the presidential circle. So we walked past, and there's a Ford Mustang, the 55th anniversary edition in white sitting there. I said, I want that one.
And
It
that
looks
is what we
fast.
got.
So we got a Ford Mustang. Okay, someone had to cram in the back seat every time, but like driving around in that car was too much
The
fun.
back seat
So it
wasn't
was
even
worth it.
bad.
No, really, the worst part about the back seat was having to it wasn't even getting in, it was the getting out because you had to like pull yourself out of that car.
Yeah,
But that engine was glorious. Oh, it cut right through you.
it was some fun. I mean, I know every time we sped up, it put a little smile on my face.
Oh, I was sitting up there, it's like, I was slightly upset that I was not like old enough to drive it since it was a rental car. Yeah.
Now, where did we
So,
take this rental car?
well, first we went to the hotel and we just dropped our stuff at the hotel, and then we did what any self-respecting roller coaster enthusiast would do. We went to In-N-Out.
Okay, there's a couple things I'm going to say. First off, I thought Whataburger was better than In-N-Out last time in Texas. I have changed my opinion. I got 2 double doubles. Second thing, for anybody who wants to know that Jack is even more of a weirdo, he gets his burgers with just meat and bun. So Marcus, everybody who's listening to this that I know will make fun of him for this, just go in. He deserves it for this one.
I hate you.
You need to not be so weird. Like, what is that?
Okay, I'll make you a deal. Eat your steak rare, and then I will eat its burger with cheese on it.
Okay, you want to bring up this now? Let's make you sound like even more of a weirdo. Jack told me
Oh
he
no,
likes
this
his
is gonna
steak
make.
with literal blood dripping on his plate.
That is how Americans eat food. If your steak does not have red in the middle of it, it is not.
You
cooked
said
right.
literal blood dripping on your plate.
And then it definitely was tonight at Calhoun's.
You disgust me.
I love you too.
I can't
So we
wait
went
for
to
them
In-N-Out.
rip into you for this.
They're gonna rip into you for not liking like a bloody steak. That's
I eat steak, but I don't want blood dripping on my plate.
oh, it's so good. All the flavor.
Okay, we got In-N-Out. It was really good.
It was when we went to In-N-Out was really good. We're jumping down each other's throats because I mean we're literally just bickering at this point, which is that's the entire point of this podcast. But
Okay. Then we went to
so
Buc-ee's, and it was the
yes,
largest
then we.
Buc-ee's in their whole corporation.
But let's mention the fact that we drove 40 minutes for a Buc-ee's.
That was worth it. It had 80
It was
gas
so
pumps.
worth it. 80 gas pumps. The thing was bigger than like every gas station in Knoxville combined. And I got a t-shirt because when at Buc-ee's, I was like, I need a t-shirt for this.
Yeah, it was huge.
It was massive. I kid you not. I went to I literally like purposely held myself from going to the restroom at In-N-Out because I wanted to use a restroom at Buc-ee's. I went into that bathroom. There were like 100 stalls. I kid you not.
Okay. Yeah, we went to Bucky's. That was pretty cool. Then we did the fun stuff.
Yeah, well,
Next,
that night, I have to say, you watched a movie.
well, what? If you put it on, it's there. I can't escape it.
I mean, yeah, but you said you kind of enjoyed it.
Yeah, that's a decent one.
Which, like, that makes me very happy because I don't know if I have told you this. I'm sorry for saying it again, but I'm telling it for them. That's like one of my favorite movies of all
I don't
time.
hate
So,
movies. I just don't watch them.
but still, the fact that you enjoyed that one makes me happy because it's one of my favorites.
Oh
Anyway,
yeah.
it was Ford v Ferrari. I love that movie. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. If you have seen it, go watch it again because it's that good.
Okay.
Okay,
Then
on
we
to
went
the
to
fun.
SeaWorld.
Then we went to SeaWorld. Jack is an idiot and left his camera battery at the charger, so there will be no pictures from SeaWorld for now. I'm sorry, people.
You're 0 for 2 at SeaWorld Parks.
I'm aware. Trust me, that thought crossed my mind. I was like, maybe I'm just cursed.
Maybe. But yeah, we went to SeaWorld. So, first thing we did was you guys went and got Yo Kitty credit.
We
Uh,
got that kitty credit. There's a great picture of me on that kitty credit.
what, taken by me or no?
Yeah.
Yay, I did a great picture, everybody. But yeah, we
I mean, you've taken good pictures. That's a story for another time. We'll tell that story one time.
so yeah, they got kitty credit. It was Grover, that was about it. Then we watched stuff test until the rest of the park opened. And then we went and watched some stuff test for a little bit before the back half of the park opened. And then when it did open, we went over to Steel Eel first. Now I have said my opinion on Steel Eel, so let's hear your opinion first.
Okay, Steel Eel is fantastic. Um, it is easily the best True Morgan. Using the word True Morgan there for a second, because fandoms exist. Um, so the drop is fantastic, and the double hill that I will henceforth be referring to as the Dahlia element is straight up murderous. Um,
The
so
Dolly element.
yeah, if you get that joke, you get that joke. So that was all really good. Chris had definitely kind of hyped that first half up for me, and it lived up to the expectations.
Thank God,
The
because it was not as good as I remembered.
um, then we dropped off the mid course, did the turn, went through that first hill, got some floater on it. And Chris had warned me, it's like, okay, second half is really not strong at all. And then we hit those triangle hills, and I was like, not strong at all. What is my back doing? It's compressing because of how strong the airtime is. So the back half floored my expectations. It was a really solid ride. I really liked it.
Yeah, so I hyped up the first half for Jack, and I'm glad that he's saying that it lived up to expectations. Because when we first hit the kink and the drop, I was like, "Uh-oh, uh, this is gonna end up disappointing him, isn't it?" Because it was not the same as I remembered the first half. Now the second Camelback was fantastic. It was amazing. And then the second half, I said, yeah, it's weak, but that was way better than I remembered. So the ride overall probably improved for me and was even better than I remembered because of the second half. But the first half was not as good, but still just Steelio was so good. I love that ride.
Yeah, it's a really solid ride. Macro recommended for sure.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Um, so from there, we went over to Wavebreaker. Wavebreaker's fun. It is the equivalent of a Fire Chaser ride, but I liked it a lot. It it kind of underwhelmed me, but I mean, I know it's a family coaster, but I was kind of hoping for a little more, I think.
I mean, yeah, it's a family coaster, so I I wouldn't have expected much in the first place. It was about the same that I remembered. A little bit of laterals, not much airtime, good location, but yeah, it it's a family coaster that doesn't do a whole lot. Just like Cobra's Curse and Fire Chaser, pretty much. They have a couple things that they do well, and everything else is just kind of meh.
Yeah, It's fun. I think my big thing was I think it could use more theming, and I know it's over the water and everything, but I'm spoiled with Fire Chaser, which is fairly well themed through the entire ride. And that one, you had like the launch show, which was kind of okay, but I really didn't understand what was happening.
You were assigned a turtle rescue mission.
Oh, is that what was happening?
Yeah, did you not hear it?
No, it was so loud I could not understand it.
Oh, well, yeah. They assign you a rescue mission.
Oh, okay. That explains the name. Okay, that makes a lot more sense now.
Yeah.
Okay,
But
I'm dumb.
solid.
It's
It's a
fun.
solid ride.
Okay, we've spent too much time talking about it. Great White, it's a Batman semi-clone. It's good.
It's not
Next.
over George's.
Yeah, next. Oh boy. Texas Stingray, baby. Okay, let's initial reactions and then we'll talk about what happens next.
Initial reactions. That's pretty good, but not as good as Thunderhead. It's a little disappointed.
Yeah,
I'm a little
that was
disappointed.
first ride we had on it. I was like, that's good. I think the way I put it, it felt like a B&M of GCIs. It was like, it did everything good. It's not great.
Yeah, I completely agree with that statement. But then.
And then we rode it a little later in the day. And when I say rode it later in the day, I mean we marathoned it later in the day. Oh, that thing warmed up. It warmed up.
It felt like a real GCI. We rode it, I think, 8 times total on the day, or at least I did. You had 9.
You got 8. I got 9.
Yeah, and it was starting to pop. You were getting airtime, you were getting laterals, you were getting thrown around. It felt a lot more wild, and it definitely felt more like Mystic Timbers than it did like Invader.
Yeah. The drop in the back was nuts. Those first okay. The drop in the back was nuts. The first overbank, the second overbank, and that kind of like twisting hill thing, I thought were all stronger in the first 3 big elements. I thought were all stronger in the front. Everything else, this is a back row ride.
Yeah, I agree.
But it was like it's and the other thing, like unlike a lot of GCIs, it just keeps coming too. Like it felt like the perfect length. Yeah, the ride is fantastic. It's butter smooth. Just so much to love about that ride.
Little part of the ride that's like away from the rest of it, where it goes into like just a little helix with a couple of like bunny hills in it.
Yeah, and there's that one hill that's like banked. It feels like 70 degrees, and you get airtime. And if you're in that inside seat, you're going to do whoever's next to you. Like there's no preventing it.
Oh
like,
yeah, we were pushing into each other.
Yeah, we were
later in the day rides.
Yeah, and it was like I'm sorry I keep body slamming you, but I can't help it. The ride's making me do. Oh yeah.
But yeah, Stingray went from good to great.
Whoa.
Real fast. It was like not that long to where it changed. It was like an hour.
Mm-hmm. And so shout out to our boy James Larson for saving our butts with Stingray. So when we were originally going to El Stumble with the Drunk Riders, James was like, "Hey, they're giving like really cheap fast passes out to pass holders right now. Do you want me to buy like 15 of them for everyone?" And so I immediately was like, "Yeah, get me 3 from myself, Dad, and Chris." And so we had fast passes. They were like $7.50. I still need to PayPal him. James, if you're listening, I'll send you money at some point this week. I promise.
I already gave him cash to send to you, so.
Yes, I spent that cash today, but you gave me the money.
But yeah, thank you, James, because nothing had a line except for Stingray. But yeah, we were able to just walk in front of everybody and hop right on every time.
Yeah, it had like a 45-minute wait if I had to guess, and we just kept lapping it.
Mm-hmm.
It was great. Yeah, so thank you, James. That made that part of the day much more enjoyable. So around 4 o'clock, we had just we'd ridden everything, really. We wanted to ride multiple times. And we pretty much we were trying to figure out how we were going to do ZDTs, and we were like, do we want to drive over there today, or do we want to do it tomorrow? And I think we just kind of settled on like, well, let's just go to Six Flags tonight and get some rides in there, and then we'll just go to VDTs at some point tomorrow, and we'll get about the same time at Fiesta Texas, no matter what. Now, looking back, we made the right decision because of what we're gonna get to in just a minute. So we get over to Fiesta. It's busy, like so much busier.
Hold on, it was busy, but it was also deceptive because they were having some animatronic dinosaur drive-through
Oh, that's right.
in
Yeah,
the parking lot, and I swear this thing probably had. It was completely full. It was probably a 30+ minute wait to get your car into the animatronic dinosaur thing.
which really didn't look that impressive. But I mean, I guess if you're a
And we know
5-year-old,
where Dinos Alive went.
yes, but even then, like their parking lot, they were definitely busier than SeaWorld. So we got there. We immediately went towards our Gal Gadot, just so I could rub it in Mike's face. And we got that coveted picture of me holding my creation, the Gal Gadot membership, the Jersey Mike's Elite membership card in front of Gal's drop, and sent that to them, and made them very mad. It was hilarious. Marcus, I'm happy your membership card at least got its 400th credit.
Ooh. Oh. Oh, Marcus. That. Ow.
Boom.
Okay.
Anyway, Gal Gadot. I still really like Gal. It is not the best roller coaster in the world. It's not the best coaster at that park. It is still a really fun ride, and I have to ride it every time I go.
I agree. Every time I go, I will ride it. It is good. However, it might be the most overrated coaster that I have ridden. I think I might say that. Yeah, it is incredibly uncomfortable. It has very good airtime. However, I don't think the airtime is any better than a ride like Lightning Runs, especially when you're getting jammed into the straps the whole time and it's shuffling everywhere and it's just a lot at once. It's a lot of getting jammed into different parts of the restraints while getting thrown up and whipped to the side and a ton of positives all at one time. It's a lot to take in, and it's uncomfortable while taking that in. So it's hard for me to say it's elite. I don't think it's elite.
I
It is good.
understand
It is
that.
not elite.
I'm usually not one for like an insane coaster experience, but there's something so fun to me about getting on one of the Raptors and knowing that for the next 45 seconds I am at the mercy of Alan Schilke and whatever crack cocaine he was on when he designed it. Because once you get off the top of that lift hill, you're like completely out of control. There is really not much you can do to brace yourself for what is about to happen. And that just a relentless feeling is something that very few rollers give me anymore. And part of the reason I love the Raptors so much.
Yeah, I can understand people who completely love it too, but I really have a hard time enjoying some parts of that ride just because of how much it is. I mean, I did ride it 3 times in a row on one day because it was a walk on, and I was like, hey, it's not going to be a walk on the rest of the day. Even though I'm not the biggest fan, I'm going to ride it now. So I got a good feel for it, and towards the end, I kind of learned how to ride it. It made me enjoy it a little more, which was just grabbing the straps and pulling them as far as I can away from the neck while riding. So it's a good ride, but it is not elite. That's my Gal review. Sorry, Mike.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm gonna say this now, and you're probably gonna hate me for saying this. If this ride is a lot for you, X2 is gonna blow your mind because X2 is just as nuts as the Raptors are.
It's not as much that as it is the restraint system with it, which X2's is just like X2 is less laterals, isn't it?
Sure.
I can deal with whip.
There definitely are laterals.
I don't think I'm gonna have as much of an issue as X2 because Wonder Woman
There's
is
also
just these
places on
shoulder straps
X2
that
where
are pulling
you
down on you.
feel like you're going to die. Like that final Raven turn, if you have any room, like I was not touching anything. I felt like I could have died in that moment. It was so crazy.
We'll see. I don't think I'm gonna have as much of an issue though, because Wonder Woman, it's just those straps, and also straddling. It's just, I don't know. It's
Mhm.
weird.
I will say this: I still prefer Railblazer. I think is a little smoother, and it is okay. I will agree with Chris. Wonder Woman is a lot. Railblazer is slightly less, which makes it just a tad bit more enjoyable because it doesn't just beat you to death the whole way through. I love that about Wonder Woman, but Railblazer, you get to take it in for a bit longer, which is nice.
Mm-hmm. Okay. After
Also,
that,
Rockwork.
that's true as well. But after that, we went to Superman.
Yep, walked right on pretty much.
Back row ride. Very good.
Yep, second to back, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Not that it
second to
matters
back.
much, but
It was very intense. Great interaction with the quarry. Definitely the best floorless, and there's a lot of whip coming off of the break run or the mid course.
Yeah, a little more
It's really
chattery
good.
than I remember it, but
I
still
agree.
fantastic. No, like I've ridden. Yeah, I think I've ridden every floorless in the U.S. now. No, not every. Which one
Wait,
am I missing?
Medusa.
Medusa and Firebird are the two I'm missing.
Yeah.
I've ridden every other floorless in the U.S. It's the best one. Hydra rattles way too much. Kraken's boring and uninspired, and Scream and Bizarre are just okay.
I
Yes,
disagree with one of those things.
I guess I definitely just like full on just like torched Kraken.
Kraken's boring and uninspiring. It just has a layout that goes underwater at the end, and also is lakeside and has your typical B&M elements, just like Superman does, except Superman is on top of a wall. It's
And
the
didn't
same
give
thing.
me a headache.
It's not my fault. You're weak.
I am not weak.
If Kraken gave you a headache,
Well, I'm sorry. Headbanging is a thing.
put your head forward, and it doesn't even rattle much.
Tell that to the Cobra roll.
Yeah, as someone who can go ride it every week and be fine, whatever. Especially considering you're like, oh no, I'm not running that rough. I have lightning rod.
I feel like this day is just turning into a roast of Jack Lathrop.
I mean, I've got points, and you know it.
I mean, I want you to keep doing this impression of me. I'm enjoying it.
Huh. So, Mr. Remind doesn't bother me that much, but Kraken give me headache. Being a rattle. Pandemonium sucks. It's way better than Diamondback, but I don't like it.
That is not what I sound like.
That's what your usual Cedar Point Kings Island fanboy sounds like.
Oh, you did not just go there, did you?
I mean, Kings Island maybe a little bit. Considering you think Diamondback is the second best hyper, we can already go there.
It has a splashdown. It's good.
This is splashdown. I can't even see what I'm on the ride. This had no effect on it.
My dad is gonna hunt you down.
Okay, fine. He knows my opinion.
Anyway, from there we went over to Rattler.
Yeah, Rattler is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
We got
So okay, no. Yep, first. So through the whole line, I had to deal with pessimistic Chris because the last time he was there, he didn't have a good experience, and so the whole line he was like,
I had a reason to be pessimistic.
I told no. You got to mock me. I get to mock you.
I get to throw in one. Okay, fine. Go ahead.
Okay, we're going back. Going up the lift. Drop. Oh my gosh! There we go.
Okay, he wants to talk about pessimistic Chris. I had reason to be pessimistic considering the ops for that ride were bad last time I was there, and they were taking forever when we first entered the line. Turns out that was because of a sanitation run. Guess what? We got to the top of the platform. I realized it was sanitation. What did I say to Jack? Their ops are actually fixed. The ops have fixed themselves and they're actually doing a lot better. We should get back in line after this. That's almost word for word what I said, and I was right.
Man, man,
I
man.
had reason to be pessimistic, but guess what? When I realized they fixed it, I changed my attitude.
Yes, and then you wrote it, and then you really changed your attitude.
Yeah,
I
because it was
know, because the
amazing.
whole time we waited through for the second go round, you talked your head off. Like that was the like
Oh,
chattiest
I
you've
was making fun of
been.
RMC fanboys the whole time.
Oh, the whole time, every single ramp, every single ride you can think of, he RMC. Oh my god.
But yeah,
Anyway, Rattler is insane. That thing is in my top 10.
I mean, it's up there. Back row is awesome. We got second to last ride of the night in second to back. It was amazing. It was a night ride. And then we get back to the station, and there's only like 4 people queued, and we already had empty rows. So they said we could just stay on the train for the last ride of the night. So we
So
got
we jumped
back
into the
this
back
time.
row.
Yeah, because everybody had already gotten up, so we stole back. And my goodness, that ride is amazing.
So we knew walking into Texas, like the chances of us getting a night ride were pretty much non-existent because of the way we had our schedule originally planned out. But making that decision to go to Fiesta Texas on Saturday night, we got that chance for 2 night rides on Rattler. Rattler is one of the best night rides in the world that drop off the core. The main drop is insane. The drop off the Corey Wall into that tunnel is nuts. And I don't know what happened to this ride, but when I rode it in 2018 for the first time, it was good, but it felt very weak. Like you got up onto the top of the Corey Wall, and it really just kind of felt like a pre-lift meandery section. That was not the case.
It
It was
was
hauling
it
through
was
those elements
sustained.
and just popping you out, and you had that perfect just like little floaty moment, and then you just those 2 big drops just try to kill you.
Yeah, it really did take it up a notch. Um, I loved it. It was so good. I think we got
I
eight
got
or nine
9,
rides.
you got 8 on the weekend, and my dad and I got 9 because we did that one more at the end.
But yeah, so Rattler was insane. And then the next day, I guess we can just go ahead and jump to that. We went to Fiesta again. We did more Gal, more Wonder Woman, or more Gal, more Superman, and more Rattler. Me and your dad rode the mine train, which was good, you know.
hmm
Um,
I snuck off and got a back row ride on Rattler without
yes.
telling them. Um,
And the one other thing that I think we
oh,
need to
we got to
talk
talk
about
about
that we did
the
was the
pirate.
dark ride.
Yeah, the dark ride.
Yeah,
Okay, this
was not
thing
expecting that.
was. I remember when they teased this and they were doing it. What is it called? Because I've just been referring it to the pirate. I've been
Pirates of the
referring to
Deep
it.
Sea.
Is that what it's called?
I think so.
I'm gonna get on their website real quick to check. I've just been referring to it as that pirate shooting dark ride that I'm too lazy to remember the name of, which is probably
Yeah,
a
it is
longer.
Pirates of the Deep Sea.
Okay, Pirates of the Deep Sea, which is over in the boardwalk. This thing, I had no expectations. I didn't even know if it was just a dark ride, if it was a shooter or anything. Wow.
Was
Hats
not
off to
expecting
you,
a
Fiesta
themed
Texas.
queue.
Hats off to you. The themed queue was fantastic. Like, really good themed queue. And then it was a Sally shooter dark ride, and I can get behind a good shooter dark ride, especially when I win.
Yeah, my gun was broken, so that's my excuse, which it actually was.
Yeah,
But
his gun was actually broken, so.
I was not expecting a themed queue, which was awesome. The ride itself had good theming. Six Flags, it's not hard. Just put one of these in each of your parks. We will be very, very happy.
It was a million times better than the Justice Leagues.
Yeah, I
I
completely agree.
I'd take a classic Sally shooter over a Justice League any day. Like,
I
okay,
completely agree. Or a
kind
Monster
of okay.
Mansion.
Or Monster. Oh, I love Monster Mansion. Okay, quick back to Megan's question. I know it was about roller coasters. Dark ride guilty pleasures. Boo Blasters every single
Heck yeah.
time.
Yes.
I am
I mean, I
a
don't even know if that's a guilty
sucker
pleasure. If you go
for
to a
Boo
Cedar Fair park and
Blasters.
don't do Boo Blasters if the park has it, what is wrong with you? But yeah,
Exactly. Boo Blasters is so good. Kings Island is the best. They have the best Boo Blasters because of the 3 across seating. Mainly because you don't have to shoot over someone's head. But they're all great.
yeah. So that was pretty much it from Fiesta, Texas. Also want to
Yeah,
say their chicken tenders were way better than SeaWorld's.
Yes, because the SeaWorld's chicken tenders were more breading than meat. Fiesta Texas has actually had like meat on them, which was great. Um, so then we'd had so many rides on Iron Rattler at that point, and Gal, and done everything we really wanted to, and we kind of wanted to get the ZDTs. So we're like, okay, let's call it here at Fiesta, and we drive over to ZDTs, which. And like making that decision to do it was kind of like, do we want to leave? Do we really want to? It was worth it. So I say it right now: if you've got to make the choice between an extra hour or two at Fiesta or ZDTs, go to ZDTs.
Yeah, I
Um,
agree.
Switchback is weird. That's the first word that pops to my head. It's fun, but very weird. I keep going back to something you told me after you first wrote it in 2019, which was just going through those bank turns backwards is one of the weirdest things you'll ever feel.
Oh, I love
Um,
when you go over that big 180-degree overbank and you just watch it, and like all of a sudden you can see the whole thing. You can see
yep,
where you just were in the turn. It, it's just weird.
it's so weird. Parks that everyone's like, we don't have room for a good like thrill coaster, or we don't have room for like just a fun ride. Yes, you do. This thing fits like in a tiny footprint and is like more enjoyable than like 200 other roller coasters I've been on, which is saying a lot.
Yeah, it is. It's really good. Since the last time I was there, it has developed a little bit more shakiness. It does rattle a little bit more. Um, Front row has some great sustained airtime moments, and you get higher up on the spike. Back row, you get whipped down the drop. I think I prefer front a little bit, but it's just really weird but cool ride that is
hmm
100% enjoyable. And there's no excuse for a park to not get a good thrill coaster besides cost after this thing. And Dorney, we'll see you soon.
Yeah, so Switchback's great. Their go karts. Once we figured out they had a boost button, those are fun.
I won.
Yes, he
Unless you
did.
count your dad's whatever.
Don't listen to him. It's that he won.
I did win.
Um,
Then y'all were in the arcade.
yes. Then my dad and I went to the arcade. I floored him in air hockey. I floored him in Guitar Hero. That felt good because I used to never be able to beat him. Um,
And that was pretty
and
much it.
that was that from ZDTs. Then we drove back, pretty much all the way back to Fiesta. Even the park was closed because we had a reservation at
Oh,
Top Golf.
that was right.
So if
Yeah.
you okay, I'm assuming most of you know what Top Golf is. If you don't, Top Golf is basically the equivalent of a driving range, but it's a game. So each of you go into like a driving range bay, and you have like a couch and a table, and they serve you drinks, and you can order food. But each of the balls you get has a like microchip that they can track in it, and you're aimed towards targets. You hit the target, you get points. The closer to the center of the target you get, the more points you get. The farther you hit it to the farther out targets, the more points you get. If you hit the back net, you get all the points pretty much. That's Top Golf dumbed down in a nutshell. I love them. I've played at San Antonio's and Charlotte's, both on roller coaster trips. Um, but I make it a priority if I'm in the town that has one and I have time, go to Top Golf.
Yeah. We already argued about it a little bit earlier, but I have golfed one time, in my life, and I won
Yes, I
2 out of
remember.
our 3 games.
So for the golfers, you know what a slice and a hook are. For the non-golfers, that's basically when you hit a golf ball, it's supposed to go where it goes straight relative to how your body is. If you have a slice or a hook, that means the ball is going to go slices to the right, hook is to the left. I have always had a nasty slice. Um, I can rein it in, but a lot of it is club dependent. Like I know it sounds stupid to blame the equipment, but I get so used to using my driver, so I switched to another one. It's like, oh, I gotta figure out how to make this thing not slice. So I just kept hitting the right net, or I was just pounding them all the way out. And there is a point where you don't get points.
Right.
So
I just kind of I was literally I wasn't trying to purposely just get points the whole time, but it was kind of ending up that way. I was really just trying to like figure out how to swing better and put some more power under it, but I kept hitting. It was working out. So
yeah,
yeah, I just got more consistent points than you and your dad, and that's how it went.
yeah. So Chris, and I mean, I'm gonna like sound like a bragging person. You were like, you figured it out really fast, and you just had that swing down, and you just kept hitting that green target. Like it worked for you, and so
Yeah, I'll take it.
okay, I will say this: it's like slightly terrifying playing at Top Golf because you're in that building with the club, and it's like, oh, what if this slips and flies out? And I even hate putting because like I can hit the ball harder and farther, but I don't like doing it at Top Golf because I'm like, if I let go of the club when I'm at a course, it's not going to hit anything because there's nothing in front of me except a pit, like a field of grass. Here, it could go into the bay next door, into the roof, or yeah. So
3 random things about Top Golf Visit. First off, we did see somebody lose control of their club when they hit, and it went flying out onto the.
did they lose control, or did that kid just full on chuck that thing?
He hit the ball at the same time as letting it go, so I think he
Okay.
just lost control. That was one thing. The second thing, I did have one where I got points for hitting it off of the person in the little cart and into the green thing. So I'm proud of that. And another thing I'm proud of, I direct hit the flag in the middle of one of the targets and it just bounced down into it. Completely unintentional. But yeah.
Have I ever told you about the time I hit the flag stick from on a par or on like a par three? It would have been a hole in one, but I hit the flag stick and it bounced back.
Ouch.
Yeah, I've been within inches of a hole in one, but I've never gotten one.
Dang.
Yep, hole in one. You want to talk about a sports accomplishment? A hole in one is a very hard one to get.
Yeah.
Um, like I do not doubt that there are things equally hard to do, but a hole in one on a good par three is extremely hard to do.
Hmm.
Anyway, no, Top Golf. I love Top Golf. It is worth it. Go play Top Golf if you haven't already. Yeah, I love Top Golf.
And that was the Texas trip pretty much.
Pretty much. Okay, let's do food. So we talked about In-N-Out at the beginning. Whataburger was. I wasn't impressed with my Whataburger overall. It was not. I've had
Oh, I
better
really liked
Whataburger.
mine. I really
I
liked mine, but it took them 20 minutes to bring it out. So.
yeah, I was not very hungry when we ate Whataburger, so that didn't help.
Hmm.
Um, the night before that though, we went to a whole. I think it was called the Smoke Shack.
Yeah.
It was barbecue. Really good barbecue. Really good Texas brisket. Some really good fries. Um, I really like that. What about you?
Oh yeah, I liked it. I had brisket grilled cheese, and I was a big fan.
Mm-hmm. It was all good. And then our final meal in Texas, we went to In-N-Out for breakfast because that is what we wanted.
And it was great as usual.
Mm-hmm. So, real quick recap. How many credits you up to now after that trip?
218. I only got 2 new credits because Journey to Atlantis was closed. But I got Stingray and the Kitty Coaster at Fiesta, Texas.
Okay, and I'm up to 277. I am 23 away from number 300. I'm gonna beat Tom. I'm going to beat Tom. I am not letting him beat me.
I think I'm gonna beat Tom.
Probably true. So great trip to Texas. Flew back. Long day of flying for me. Almost missed a flight. Then they delayed the flight. Then that plane was like 90 degrees on the inside, and it was had a kid kicking me in the back the entire time while I was trying to watch Age of Ultron. Yeah. So yeah, it was a good
We
trip.
had a good trip.
Got to shout out, of course, my dad for joining us on the craziness and putting up with our craziness. Again, thanks James for the fast passes. Shout out to Taylor for telling me about where to go to get pictures of Rattler on the wall. Who else deserves a shout out?
There is one shout out that we are basically obligated to do, but we will gladly do anyway.
Oh yeah, we have to do that at the end of the show, but
yeah.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else Texas related.
I mean, shout out to everybody from the Stumble, because I don't think we would have gone on this trip if that wasn't a thing in the first place.
Yeah, that's true. Thank you to everyone. Thank you to the Drunk Riders for Stumble. I'm sad we didn't get to join you. We will see you eventually. We love you guys. Anything else with Texas?
No, I think that's it.
Yep, so we came, we saw, and we took Texas. That is our Texas trip report. So, okay. Next couple weeks we got we got the first couple guests of season 2 coming up. We're gonna get Daniel Packman, DP Photos on Instagram is coming on in the next week or two, and we've also got Bryant from Coaster 365 coming on to talk about the roller coaster madness that is heating up, which you will probably hear Chris and I talk about every single week until it is over. If you are on Twitter, go vote every single day. This is a super fun tournament to be a part of. You got a bracket you can pick that's put together by a great guy, a great friend named Brian. Just go participate in all of this. It's so much fun. And also, shout out to Brian for being one of our Diamond Elite patrons.
Thank you for giving us money, Bryant. You get a shout out.
Yep, so if you want your name read on the show every single week alongside Brian's, go join our Patreon at the Diamond or Diamond Elite level. There's also a Gold and Platinum level where you get some other benefits like access to a special Discord server or part of our Discord server and random stuff in the mail. And of course, if you join by the end of March, you get your very own Twisted Travelers membership card mailed to you.
That's right.
Yeah. So, am I missing anything?
Follow us at Twisted_Travelers, I think, on Instagram, and at Twisted Traveler, but the R is a 1 on Twitter. My personal on Instagram at Twisted Travelers. Chris and Jack, you can do your Thrilling Moment stuff.
It is at Thrilling Moment on Twitter and Instagram. I'm just the guy with the obnoxious orange logo and hot takes. Hard to miss. So, I got one more thing to say. You ready for this? Hey, Mike. Gal says hi.
Goodbye.
Thanks for listening to the Twisted Travelers Podcast.